You have been accepted for an experiment. You must stay in a room with nothing but bed, toilet, food, water, and no human contact for 1 month. If you succeed for the whole month without giving up, you get $5 million. Do you accept? And what are your coping strategies to avoid mental breakdown? No human contact. I've already got that down. A lot of push-ups, running in place, masturbation, meditation, and trying to recall specific memories in detail. I'd try to think about specific things I've learned in a lot of detail. I'd do a lot of praying. I think I'd try to teach lessons out loud or practice speeches, make up songs, poems, dirty limericks, jokes, etc. I'd try to take a topic such as outer space and recall everything that I know on this topic. I'd also daydream a lot and probably rant about things that had troubled me in the past. I would not be ashamed or afraid to speak out loud. I'd probably figure out how to carve on the walls, create art. I would try. I'm a pretty big daydreamer, and I think that between daydreaming and sleeping, I would manage. 1 month in an empty room in exchange for enough money to comfortably retire on and never work again in my life. I'd take the deal. To keep sane, I'd meditate and maybe make a pillow fort or do something with the food other than eat it. I could make macaroni art on the floor. It would be challenging, but definitely worth it. I would try to vividly remember everything I've ever liked. I'd think of songs, books, and movies I like and try to dissect what I like about them and how they relate to other things and what they mean to me. Greatest hits of memories. Think of the future. Think about what kind of life I want to live when I get out. Try to prioritize what means the most to me and plan what steps I can take when I get out to make what I've been thinking about a reality. I think it's doable if you know it's only a month and there is a reward at the end. When people go crazy from isolation, it tends to be because they have no idea if or when it will end. Even if it does end, the future still tends to be bleak. The hopeless is what gets you, not the isolation. I think $5 million for a month would entice me to give it a go, and I imagine the thought of that much money would motivate me to stick it out. But I'm aware of the effects of solitary confinement and how it can have lasting effects on you. I spend most of my time alone, so the lack of people wouldn't bother me, I don't think. However, I don't spend all my time alone just eating, drinking, sleeping, and staring at 4 walls, which I would be doing in the experiment. That would be tough. Edit. I also think a difficult aspect of the experiment would be not knowing what's happening in the world around you. With information always seconds away with our devices, a month without that information at our fingertips would be irritating, in my opinion. I'd probably have a full-on mental breakdown at some point. It would be hell, and I'd hate it. But the month would end. I'd have $5 million and a pretty good premise for a book. I could probably sleep without a bed, so I would tear it apart and use the shreds to make a village out of dolphin people. I could color them somewhat using the food and water to spice things up. After the village is complete, I would convince myself that I'm a dolphin too and would make whale noises for the next 4 weeks as I attempt to learn their language. If I'm lucky, I might even get a job as a shell slinger at the local stadium. As long as I could wash too, because you don't mention a bath without that wouldn't be a deal breaker to me trying it, but would probably be what caused me to quit. Like unlimited food of my choosing, I think if I could do that I'd be okay. I spent 16 hours in a detox cell after getting a DWI though, and I was already counting and recounting bricks and getting a little anxious by the time I got out. Every time they brought food I felt a little relief. I think it would be tougher than people think. Been in prison for 2 years. I've got this standing on my head. Workout, body weight fitness, nap a lot, masturbate a lot, no problem. All of these people thinking it would be easy should watch Alone. It's a History Channel show with a similar premise. What's different that Op does? If you have no tasks to keep you busy, I would specifically look at season 3 for those interested. The winner barely lasted 87 days. I doubt he would have made 30 with nothing to do. I'm not saying people cannot do it. I'm saying that isolation is a punishment for a reason. It breaks people. It messes with your mind. Sorry, I would go insane. I wouldn't do that for 5 meters unless I could have an opt-out button. I did this when I was going through heavy depression. I would sleep a lot or stare at the wall. I would practice meditation, sleeping. I would tell myself stories that I could publish when I get out. I would take the attitude of enjoying it. It would be the long needed break my workaholic self needs. Is there lotion? Do it in a New York minute. Just sleep as much as possible and best my pecker till it looks like Freddy Krueger's face from rub burns. Edit. This is my top rated comment. Couldn't be more proud. Edit 2. Thank you stranger for the gold. Nothing would change, except at the end of the month I have 5 million more than I would have. Absolutely. I've done my time, including a good stint 3 weeks in SC with no control over my surroundings. Doing a slightly longer bid with a light switch and a toilet that actually functions would be f***ing great. Coping strategies? Sleep all day, nap, eat, nap, sleep, workout. Shadowboxing is a great one in solitary. Forget about time. It's an abstract concept in this box. There is no time. There's only activity. Eat when I'm hungry, sleep when I'm tired, work out when I've got energy. For $5 million I'd go 2 months without looking back. People that don't realize how difficult it would actually be. Nah son. No thanks. I'd go crazy for sure. I accept the challenge, because initially all I see is green and the number of trailing zeros at the end of that payout. Day 1. I enter the room, and I entertain myself pretty well for about the first 10 minutes. Then I itch for my phone, and for the ability to scroll Reddit or check my messages. I violently crush those thoughts, and try to focus on something else, like what I would do with the money, and how much I would allocate to a specific thing. I'm also thinking about all the cool things I'll be able to do and all the countries I'll be able to visit. Somewhere in the back of my mind the itch to Google something or look something up is always present, but it eventually becomes more wishful thinking than an itch. I'm able to occupy some of my time this way. Day 2. 4. Much of it goes like day 1, except the loneliness is gradually getting larger. Day 5. 6. My thoughts have moved past what I will be doing with the money and now existential questions are hitting me, like what will I do with my life from now on? How will this impact my relationships? Is there a god? How do I masturbate without porn? Day 7. 10. I decide that I must find some hobbies, even if isolated. At this point it's only been a week, but I miss my boyfriend, I miss my friends, and I miss KOing what's going on in the world. I even miss the Kardashians, damn it. I practice singing, because at least my voice will only torture myself this way. I try to make up some poetry, or fantasize about what kind of D&D storyline I would make up if I was a dungeon master. Little things that keep me creative despite not having things like paper and a pencil. Day 11. Sadness and the fact that I've had no human contact for 11 days hit. I spend most of this day crying, just hit by a giant wave of loneliness and paranoia about what might be happening in the outside world. What if someone I love was hurt, or worse, dead? I would have no way of KOing. That is the most terrifying part. Day 12, 13. Much like day 11, but increasingly manic. When I'm not crying I fill the empty hours with sleep. Day 14. It's getting near the halfway point. I have to struggle it out, I've dedicated so much time already. I decide that maybe I'll write a book about it and brainstorm thoughts. Day 15. I start to sleep more, exercise a bit, being alone with my thoughts, make them too loud, so I try to keep myself occupied. I start talking to myself a little more. Day 16. 30. I can't fathom really